Jesus.
Yeah. Every step I take, I build a man I said I'd be. Pressure on my back, good. It wakes the fire in me. Storms don't shake me. Doubt won't break me. I rise from the dirt where the world tried to place me. My hunger's louder than excuses ever were. My mission's clearer every time the lines blur. I don't bend, I don't fold, I don't ask for a path. I carve my own road. When the weight hits heavy, I stand tall. When the nights get long, I stay strong. I live forward, no rewind. Every scar on my body is proof of my climb. I don't break, I don't quit. I rise again every time life hits. Blood in my teeth, fire in my chest. I push past limits you thought were the end. I'm built from pressure, shaped by the grind. Unshaken, unbroken, unbreakable drive. People see the end result, never what it costs. The early mornings, lonely nights, battles that I fought, but still I move. Discipline over mood, every sacrifice made us fuel. My heart is forged in the heat of the struggle. My will is iron, my mindset is muscle. If the world says stop, I go again. If the path gets blocked, I make a new one instead. I don't want the early mornings, lonely nights, battles that I fought. Greatness grows in those who hurt. I don't wait for fate to choose. I become the proof. I don't break, I don't quit. I rise again every time life hits. Blood in my teeth, fire in my chest. I push past limits you thought were the end. I'm built from pressure, shaped by the grind. Unshaken, unbroken, unbreakable drive. Static in the headlines, noise in the feed. Everyone shouting what we're supposed to be. But the mirror don't lie and the code runs true from the first heartbeat. Red or blue, no filters, no edits, no rewrite plan. Nature hit enter when life began. Before the hashtags, before the fight, there's a simple truth in black and white. Strip it down past the smoke and screen, past the buzzwords, past the memes. I'm not here to hate, I'm here to say some lines don't bend, they stay the same. Two sex, two genders, signal clear. Born one or the other, year to year. No glitch in the system, no masquerade. It's written in the bones, not a trend we made. Hands up, stand strong, hear the thunder roll. Truth hits hard when the bass takes hold. Two sex, two genders, loud and alive. That's the beat, that's the drive.
That's the beat, that's the drive.
You can remix words, you can change the frame, but biology don't play that game. Steel in the spine, blood in the vein, built with purpose, not random pain. I respect your path, I walk my own, but facts don't fall to a changing tone. You can blur the lines, call it free, but reality still counts to two, not three. This ain't fear, this ain't control. It's standing grounded when the world spins cold. Stay clean, stay system, no masquerade. It's written in the bones, not a trend we made. Hands up, stand strong, feel the ground shake. When the sun drops low and the lights all break. Two sex, two genders, carved in time. Binary fire in a digital rhyme. 808 heartbeat, primal sound. Roots run deep in the sacred ground. Say what you won't, spin what you choose, but the truth still stands when the echo fades loose.
Two sex, two genders.
Lock it in.
Day one truth till the final spin. No shame, no hate, just facts on display. Some things don't change no matter what you say.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Potato's Eye live stream. I'm, of course, your host, The Potato. Now, I'm trying out some new filters yet again. Messing with things as I go and seeing what works the best. So if anything starts to cut out or lag or anything like that, please let me know over the chat and I'll try to keep an eye on everything there. And of course, you know us potatoes, we have lots and lots of eyes and we like watching all the interesting things that humans do up top. And boy, howdy, has it been a year, right? We've gone over quite a few different things, but starting out the stream, I like to thank everybody in. And we have quite a bit going on in the chat today. Let me see, make sure I'm showing up. Yeah, it looks like I'm showing up, so I think I'm good. All right, so we've got, who do we got? Homestead Wench. Love your name. Welcome into the stream. Welcome into the channel. Love to see new people. Thank you very much for joining us. His words of love. As always, love to see the new, the same old people. Who did we have first? Wickmoto, it looks like you might have been first as normal. Mr. B, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. And again, if I'm cutting out and you don't hear your name, I'm sorry. Mrs. D, thank you very much for joining the stream and showing engagement. I greatly appreciate the support that I've been getting from all of you guys. All right, so starting out, I always like to start my streams. See Apprentice, good to see you. I think that might be everybody now. Cool, Vic. I mentioned you in the chat. I don't know if you kept watching or if you just tagged and left, but I appreciate the engagement either way. All right. Awesome name. Yeah. Yeah, Wickmoto, I agree. Okay, so let's get into my intro here. All right. So as always, I like to start out my days with the motivational quote. And my motivational quote today is, when you ignore the root of the problem, you don't act surprised when the ground collapses beneath you. And the motivational quote from the well-known, the price of apathy toward public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. And that was done by Plato. So today I'm going to be covering a few different topics, a few different stories. So let me start out with a funny-ish thing, like I've started to kind of do, like to have a little bit more humor in my live streams as well as my videos. So let me find. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find the one that I want when I want it. And this is probably going to be playing just as I'm coming up. Oh, okay. All right. So we'll start out with this. Unintended consequences. By Reason Magazine. Again, hopefully they won't have a problem with it. I like what they've been saying, so hopefully this is just giving them press and not me giving a copyright strike. I haven't seen anything yet. So Reason Magazine, go check them out. And maybe, come on, where's the volume? There it is.
The year 2022. The problem? Too many guns on the streets of Utica, New York. The solution? An anonymous gun buyback program with a premium paid for unregistered ghost guns that don't have serial numbers. Sounds like a great idea with the best of intentions. What could possibly go wrong? It turns out you can print money. A West Virginia man used his 3D printer to create more than 100 firearms and parts, then drove 6 hours to hand them over. Because his parts were all unregistered, each one was eligible for an additional $100 bonus, and he drove away $21,000 richer, making him fully loaded. Part 2.
So yet again, not necessarily the one that I was looking for last stream, but yet again, unintended consequences from great, ideas, intentions. So with that being said, what we'll be covering today is a little bit of the next generation, right? I've mentioned on other streams that I'm trying to look for things that will entice the next generation into listening to my streams. And today I'm going to be covering what basically I see as a very big concern and step toward that next generation taking things into their own hands, I guess. All right, so let me start out with not much in the chat so far. One's in the chat. Come on, guys. Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream, please. Let's start out with our day with a clip from Polymatters. Polymatter. It's they're just reporting on this particular story that I came across from Nepal. And we'll kind of go over it as we get into it.
Nepal, a country of nearly 30 million people, recently elected a new prime minister using Discord, the free social platform used mainly by gamers.
Every time it does that, I'm like, am I getting a notification? Is that my Discord going off? What's going on here? Sorry, go ahead.
Between memes and emojis, thousands of users voted in an anonymous poll for their favorite of 5 candidates. Less than 48 hours later, the winner, 73-year-old former Supreme Court Justice Sushila Karki, was formally sworn in as the nation's leader. Needless to say, this is not how elections typically work in Nepal.
Or anywhere else, for that matter. But is this maybe, what we should be looking at? I don't know. I mean, the idea of democracy, again, is that a good thing? We don't live in a democracy right now. Not all of the public gets a say in what happens with it. But yeah, his words of love. Discord. Yeah, of all things, this is what got them the ability to break free. I don't know exactly how to word it, what to think of this, but as we go through it, it'll explain a little bit more about the state of Nepal and why this ended up happening. But this is kind of a foreshadow into what's going on with our internet ability in general. We don't have much going on with the ability to have, going forward, our internet seems to be going down the tubes. The ability to have our internet unrestrained. So this will kind of go further into that idea.
This extraordinary sequence of events was set in motion 2 weeks earlier, when the previous administration sent letters to dozens of social media companies demanding that they immediately register with the government. Those that refused or were simply too slow to respond were banned from the country just 7 days later. With hardly any warning or explanation, Nepalis were suddenly cut off from the apps and websites they used every day. Apps like YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Outraged, a group of students and young activists began peacefully protesting in the capital, Kathmandu. Little did they know, they had just lit the match to a fire that would soon grow far bigger than they could possibly control. Within hours, thousands had joined them. Their demands grew broader, and the crowd less patient.
So, kind of shows you what can happen with, peaceful protesting. This maybe goes a little bit too far, in my opinion, but it again shows what, we as the people, as individuals should have power over when it comes to democracy, when it comes to the ability to rule over our own selves. I don't know exactly how to describe it. Again, I don't know exactly how to feel about this, but it shows the power of unity of the people, right? Wikimoto, that's because the internet bit the Democrats in the behind. Yeah. So, again, we're supposed to be believing in equality for all, and hey, Marte, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us, man. I try not to talk about myself too much, but I'm glad that you found me. It's a pleasure to have you, buddy. So we'll jump back into this, but it shows the power of unity, and they kind of take it a little bit too far here in a bit.
The government, it quickly became clear, had been caught flat-footed and was now completely overwhelmed. The Prime Minister first repealed his social media ban, and when that didn't work, resigned from office. But this...
So again, like I've mentioned in previous streams, we have to be careful of what we say. And the internet is a big, big place for people to be thinking that they can just say things and take it back. Oh, I didn't mean that. It was rhetorical. It was in a game, whatever. Some things can be fun in playing, but some things we have to be careful of, right?
Only emboldened the protesters, proving they had the upper hand. With no one to hold them back, some seized this opportunity to truly vent their frustration. Over the next few days, at least 70 people, mostly protesters, were killed. Billions of dollars worth of property was destroyed, and all 3 branches of government were set on fire.
So again, most of them that were the ones that ended up damaged, essentially. But it, again, 3 branches of government set on, that's not a good thing, right? So this is not something I'm condoning in any way, shape, or form, but it again shows the power of the people, right?
Finally, seeing the writing on the wall, the army brokered a deal. It asked the leaders of the protest to propose the name of a new prime minister. And those leaders, in keeping with the spirit of the movement, deferred that question to the wisdom of the crowd. They did this the fastest, easiest, and simplest way they knew how, using one of the very same platforms the government had only just tried to ban: Discord. And just like that, Nepal had a new leader. But make no mistake, this revolution wasn't really about Discord or Instagram or YouTube. It was about the government's decades-long inability to solve one basic yet fatal economic problem.
And it's just about to talk about how the people finally realized that the government isn't for them, it's for themselves. And they started to take back what they need to. Marte, thank you very much for the sub. I really appreciate that, man. But essentially, it shows us again what we can do as people, right? So what we're just about to talk about is the reason that this all kind of came to a head, right? It wasn't just the fact that people are addicted to their social websites and they had to have their social media websites. It's more than that. And he'll talk about what really happened with the government and what's been going on in the last couple decades.
Sponsored by Private Internet Access.
No.
Stay secure on poorest nations in Asia. It doesn't have oil like its Central Asian neighbors. It doesn't have access to the sea like Bangladesh. It doesn't have India's flatter terrain, making transportation cheaper and easier to build. And it's not subsidized by a central government like Tibet. Tourism helps, of course, yet the very qualities that make it so attractive to a certain kind of thrill-seeking traveler also limit its mass appeal. If
everybody could do it, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So everybody would go and climb Mount Everest. So they don't have any products. There's nothing that's made in Nepal, but they have so many people that the people have to go outside of Nepal to be able to make the money across seas. And then they send that money back to their people. Sounds kind of familiar, right? But wouldn't it be better if they were to be in their own country, building their own country, right? And he'll talk about that here in a bit as well.
anyone could climb Mount Everest, after all, far fewer would want to. One thing Nepal does have an unusual amount of, however, are people. Despite being only 4 times bigger than Bhutan, its population is 37 times larger. Not only that, it's the kind of population a rapidly growing economy needs, a young one. Its median age is just 27, and a full 60% of the country is under 30. So, what do you do with all this young, able-bodied labor when you have no oil to drill or garments to weave? Well, in Nepal's case, you send them abroad. Women tend to work in India, men in Korea, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. The former are often recruited as maids, nannies, and cooks, the latter as drivers, construction workers, security guards, or electricians. South Korea, with its median age of 45, is always in need of helping hands, as is the Middle East, with its well-known addiction to building flashy mega projects. Once overseas, Nepalis can earn about $340 a month. A tiny sum by global standards, but consider that the country's per capita GDP is just $1,400 a year, or $120 a month, only a third as much. And because migrant workers are generally provided with food and accommodation, they can keep nearly every dime they earn, meaning they can send nearly their entire paycheck back home. These transfers, called remittances, are life-changing for wives, husbands, children, and parents in Nepal.
So again, like I was mentioning, sounds kind of familiar, right? So as far as I'm sitting, it sounds to me like if they were to be staying in their own country and building their own country, right? But the government doesn't allow that to happen because they don't keep any money in Nepal to have the people be able to invest. They don't invest in their own people.
Between 1984 and 2022, the share of its population earning less than $3 a day fell from 83 to just 2%. The World Bank called the speed and scale of its success in eliminating extreme poverty unparalleled among its peers. But there's a catch. Paradoxically, what's life-changing for each individual family can still be disastrous for the nation as a whole. The problem is that migrant labor isn't just a fallback, a useful plan B for those unable to find better work at home. No, it's practically the default pathway, a virtual necessity for all but the luckiest few. 2,000 Nepalis leave for new jobs overseas every single day. 76% of households rely on remittances from at least one family member. And these are low estimates. Many Nepalis work next door in India, where they don't need a permit or even a passport to enter. When you add up all these remittances, they comprise, by some estimates, 2/3 of Nepal's entire GDP. 2/3.
That's wild. So as he'll go on to talk about their actual GDP, and I understand our GDP is much larger, but it goes to stand that the fact that we have such a good economy here, we should be very grateful for what we have in America. Hey, Joseph Romano, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for the subscription. It's good to see you, buddy. I recognize you. It's good to see everybody again, as always. But again, we should be very thankful for our economy, essentially capitalism. I understand that there's a lot of greed when it comes to what we have currently in our system, but we should be very grateful for a better economy than what they have. But it just goes to show that we here need to keep our production here. We can't be continuing to outsource our production outside of our own country. That's what's gotten Nepal in this predicament in the first place. I understand that we're way off from there, but if we keep shipping our production outside, and that's what the tariffs are trying to get us back to, working with our own country in our own country to build that production here, right? Yeah, it makes me wonder what percentage remittance adds to Mexico's GDP from ours. I agree completely with Moto. So it'll talk about India's GDP and what their remittance from the United States comes in at, and it's a fraction of what this is.
For comparison, remittances are also quite common in India. Millions of Indian Americans in particular regularly send money back home. Yet they represent just 3% of India's GDP.
So 3% compared to almost 70% of Nepal's GDP. Again, this is wild to me. I'm just a small town citizen, so that's why I call myself a potato. But I didn't realize that outside of the United States was that much different, right? And he goes on to talk about $340 a month is their average income and their GDP. It's wild to me to think that, like we're talking about with the other stream and Bonnie Blue getting arrested, $13 got her out of prison for 15 years. $13, right? That was wild to me. Not so wild after this one, I guess.
In Nepal, remittances overshadow all foreign aid and all foreign direct investment. It's not even close.
Well, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but it shouldn't be remittance. It should be internal funds, because there should be some kind of way that they can be helping themselves, right? And I understand foreign aid is to a certain extent, I don't know exactly how I feel about it, because right now, especially, we need to be America first. We don't have enough we're supposedly, 13.8 trillion in debt, or I don't know. It was so freaking much. I stopped watching it. It was so disgusting to watch, but we're counting up constantly so fast. So we don't need to be helping elsewhere in the world, but them going outside of Nepal constantly to work outside of Nepal, something needs to change. And I'm not saying that here in America needs to be the ones to change it, right? I'm just here as a potato trying to figure out what we can do going forward.
Now, a large influx of cash, one would think, is surely a good thing. That's the whole rationale, after all, behind foreign aid. And indeed, for any one family, it is. But consider what this does to an economy over time. The reason this income is so life-changing is that for many, it's the difference between having dinner and going hungry. Yet, for that same reason, it doesn't allow Nepalis to save, never mind invest. The vast majority of this money, 79%, is immediately consumed in the form of basic necessities like food, rent, and clothes. Now,
and again, going back to we need to be producing our own products here. We farm a lot, and all of these guys are small-time farmers, but we need to be farming our own things. We need to be producing our own things similar to that, but everything needs to be in-house, or as much as it can be. I understand there's going to be some things that we're going to have to get from overseas, but this, again, drives the point home that we need to keep our production in-house, America first, our own countries individually first, and then we can help outside of those as we can. But this idea that everybody flocks to our country because we have the best economy, but then their economy is still like this. I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening with Nepal, but that's essentially what's happening across the world. Is everybody's fleeing their economy-torn country to come to a better economy to then essentially ruin our economy because we're helping so many people from an empty cup. Because again, I stopped looking at the debt clock.
that alone isn't the problem. The problem is that, remember, all the would-be farmers and factory workers are off building World Cup stadiums in Qatar and off cleaning houses in Korea. All those products must be imported from abroad.
Yeah, so, you know, me, I like to Google things, and I just went to the debt clock, and I don't know what I was thinking. 38 trillion is what we're sitting at. $38.5 trillion is what we're sitting at right now. We don't have any money. We don't have any money to be helping anybody. I'm not saying we should, right? But we don't have any more money to be just handing out to anybody and everybody either.
In other words, money flows into Nepal as remittances and then immediately flows out as imports. When all is said and done, nothing is actually built domestically. No new factories, no new jobs. In short, Nepal has been hollowed out. It's little more than a pass-through economy. In a cruel twist of irony, nearly everyone who stays in Nepal is a small-scale farmer, 66% of the workforce. Yet the country...
So like I said, they don't produce anything. Everybody just tries to feed themselves, essentially. And they can't even feed their own country because they have 30 times the amount of Bhutan in population, but they're just a fraction of the size larger than Bhutan, right? So they have so much population that they have overpopulation, and they ship out all of the people that should be staying in because their population is all, well, their average is 27. So they range from, to the 30% of their population, 60% of their population is under 30. So they have a lot of good young people that could be building factories, making their country itself beneficial. But they can't turn down work across seas to stay home and hope that everybody else does too, but their government. So again, we as the people have the control over the government. We need to be utilizing it as much as we can. In Wikmoto, they drain it into the river. They gripe about not having clean water. Yeah, that's the thing is, I understand a lot of these other world countries, they don't do anything to really help themselves. And that's why I don't know how I feel about immigration in general. right? We don't need anything overseas. We don't need anything from overseas. I agree with you there as well, Wikmoto. Here's some irony. India, the first civ to have working plumbing that sent the waste outside of the walls, yet the smell. Wow, really? Joseph Romano, that's crazy. I did not know that they were the first. Yeah, I don't understand how it's so bad across seas. But again, why we should be very thankful for our own economy and our own country and not be letting it go to like it has been.
The country struggles even to feed itself. It's forced to import a significant quantity of its food because without capital to invest in fertilizer or equipment, agriculture productivity is so incredibly low. It's in the strange position of having too much labor, and therefore too little. Too much, so millions go overseas. And as a result, too little is left at home. Particularly the youngest, most able-bodied and skilled labor. The kind who would ordinarily, for example, start businesses. If there were more opportunities at home, more workers would stay there. But for there to be more opportunities, workers would first have to stay, starting the companies and attracting the investment that would eventually create jobs.
So again, like I was saying, they need to be the people that have the ability to build their own economies need to be holding to their own economies and building their own economies. And we need to be pushing for that, not pushing for them to come join our good economy. Our economy is already good. There's no reason for them to come and make it quote unquote better. Our economy is good. That's why they're coming here, right? So we don't need anything from them, essentially. They're coming here for what we have. So we need to be helping them understand that they're able to help build their own economy. If we're able to give so much to them individually, why aren't we helping their economy? I'm not saying we should now. We've spent, so again, I just said we're 38.5 trillion. That's literally live. 38.5, 37. Just pulling off the top of my head. That was what it was said right at the time. And we're counting up hundreds of thousands of dollars like a freaking second. So I'm not saying that we should send money to them. Definitely not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we need to be educating these people that they have the ability to build their own economy. Now, this particular situation is the government itself was retarded with their money, slurred with their money. Sorry, guys. But going forward, we need to be helping them understand that you can't do that with your money, right? I don't know exactly how to say that because it's the government.
Nepalis have no choice. They can't turn down work overseas, forcing their families to starve, hoping everyone else will do the same. Nor can they wait around for years while domestic industries take off. But this means that nothing ever happens. And that's just the economic problem. Now consider what this does to a nation politically. As a partly free democracy, even before the recent Discord revolution, the government is theoretically accountable to the public. Yet, whenever unemployment rises, it can simply channel this surplus into migrant labor. Remittances are the perfect low-effort government policy. They're easy to implement, the consequences are delayed, they shift the burden of structural problems onto individual citizens, and they outsource potential unrest to a faraway place. Addressing root causes, on the other hand, is hard work and doesn't happen overnight.
So again, it comes down to the easy path, right? We need, and I understand that I'm speaking to everyone as everyone, and I can only speak as if myself, and I'm a potato, and I don't mean anything. I have 6 viewers right now, which thank you very much for viewing. I really appreciate you. But the point of the matter is we, like Mr. B says, we need to be better about thinking for the benefit of everyone. And if you're essentially marrying your cousin every generation, then your IQ goes down. And that's been, factual science, things like that. So these other world countries, I don't know exactly what they need to be doing about it, but the government itself got them into this predicament. They should be adhering to what the people want, not just what they want. They see a paycheck. They shouldn't see a paycheck. They should see people. The people are the ones who pay that paycheck, whether it be their people or the United States. The people are what's paying that. And I understand, again, you're talking to a brick wall when it comes to theft and criminals, but that's why I say we need to be holding to our rights as much as we can here in the United States, especially.
Nepal, for instance, has the potential to generate massive amounts of hydropower, ample demand for which lies right across the border in India. Yet building dams requires diligent planning, long time horizons, and is capital intensive.
So again, if we really want to help people, right? And I'm not talking just funneling money to them. Maybe our engineers were to spend some time we don't even have to spend time. I'm pretty sure we have probably plans for every single size, every single design that they could possibly need. All we would have to do is give them the information, and it wouldn't cost us anything. I could be a potato. I don't know. But it seems to me like if we really wanted to help people across the world, which I would be very for, I'd be behind it. We need to be helping people. But what we could be doing for free is giving them information. Let them understand that they have the power to do it. The investments that we already do, maybe we can spend it in other ways. Maybe we stop doing that for now, but what my point is, right? If we're going to help, maybe we help the right way.
Unsurprisingly, every government over the last 20 years has done the same thing when faced with these two choices. Take the easy way out, using remittances as a substitute for real policymaking. With a nation's future on autopilot, politicians are free to focus their efforts on collecting bribes. Since the end of the monarchy in 2008, governance of Nepal has been passed around like a hot potato. One after another, 13 governments have gotten in, used the treasury as their personal ATM, and quickly moved on.
13 in what was that? From 2008 to 2025? 13 in 13 years it seems like? I don't know. I don't math well. But that's why, again, to drive the point home, to mash that into place, right? Why we should be very thankful for our government, our economy, and why we don't want to screw it up, right? We don't want to allow things to happen to cause that to go downhill. We don't want this to end up happening. And it seems like a lot of corruption seems to go on, right? So we need to be making sure that it doesn't, as much as the people can. And we, the people, are the people. I thought that's what it's for, the people, of the people, by the people, right? So we need to make sure we hold to that.
Not one finished their full term. For decades, Nepalis have shouldered the burden of their government's poor choices. Migrant labor is stressful, demanding, and sometimes physically dangerous. Long hours are the norm, and passports are often confiscated by employers, restricting their freedom. Even in the best of cases, working overseas means being away from your family for months or years at a time.
And I'll speak, not months, not years, but I worked in the oil field. I spent time away from home, and I didn't like it personally. It wasn't for me. But if you have to do it and you don't have a choice, what do? Right? So they're going to have a way to communicate. And that goes back to the social media, right? The ability to communicate across seas. And their family members that have gone out to pay for them to survive. For them to be able to say, hey, yes, I'm still getting what you're sending, and I appreciate that, right? We need to have the freedom to be able to utilize what's available to them. We should be able to utilize it too. So them sending out the 2-week notice and basically not really giving them any kind of awareness or ability to refute it, and then just kicking them out. Again, we need to be very appreciative of what we have here, and maybe just let them take care of what they have, right?
Meanwhile, social media provides a window into the extravagant lives of the nation's tiny, corrupt elite. In 2012, the son of a former prime minister was given $250,000 by the government to hike Mount Everest, quote, for the sake of the country.
For the sake of it, what? And this is why I hate social media. And I'm on it. I know. But that's why it took me so long to get onto it, is because I don't care for this idea. The fact that a royalty can basically show off in a place that's $1,400 a year GDP, $1,400 for the whole nation, for the whole country, for the whole whatever the little township that they are. For them to then just US 250,000, that's many times over, right? Hey Pumpkinhead, it's good to see you, buddy. So yeah, I don't like the fact that if you're unable to make more than a certain amount, you shouldn't be rubbed in your face that other people are able to see. That's why most places in the United States, or at least it used to be, that you couldn't talk about how much money you made, right? The paycheck was not to be discussed. And I don't disagree with that, but I don't know if I agree with it per se either. The ability to know what everybody is making forces competition. It forces the employer to give you what you're worth, right? And I agree with that. But to rub it in other people's faces is not always respectful. And that's where it comes back down to what we've talked about in previous streams about restraint through morals and ethics, right? We keep talking about force doctrine, right? And I completely agree with forces. It is force makes, right? I'm not saying it makes right. I'm making it makes, correct? So, but it does make our rights. It does give us the ability to keep our rights. And so we need to hold to that force, and this $250,000 to a royalty person and being able to smear it in other people's faces, it just fuels into this idea that anybody can have force. And the force doctrine is what is.
Another young princeling posted photos standing next to a Christmas tree made of Louis Vuitton boxes, in a country, recall, with a $1,400 per capita GDP.
So again, I'm a potato. I don't know what Louis Vuitton costs, but I can almost guarantee you that that's almost $250,000 in and of itself. Again, I don't know. This is just me pulling off the top of my head. But in a country with $1,400 GDP, they don't need that rubbed in their face. They need something to give them motivation, to help them understand that their government is out for them, not for themselves, like they've been since 2008, apparently.
Nepal has been cruising on autopilot for so long, even the slightest patch of turbulence was bound to unleash this fury. In September, that long-simmering discontent finally boiled over. The social media ban wasn't just unpopular, It was a painful slap in the face to millions who use these platforms to stay in touch with their loved ones working overseas. That, not young people's addiction to social media, is why Nepal overthrew its government.
So again, that's just it, is like he's saying, is they got tired of it because they want to be able to keep in touch with everybody else, their family members, their loved ones. Like Homestead Wench says, she was an oil-filled baby as well. Her dad was a derrick hand for 18 years. It's not easy living. Famine or feast. And yeah, I didn't work in there for very long. It wasn't my cup of tea. When I did work it was a third party. So I was very blessed in the ability to leave location when things really got hairy. But yes, it was very much the people that I knew, it was feast or it was famine. There was no in between. You got a lot of work or you got no work, essentially, right? So it goes back to, again, that next generation. We need to be feeding into that next generation and helping them understand what's going forward, right? They need to be helping the economy, not just sitting back and waiting for us to feed back into them or whatever. Like it talks about them shipping off the younger generation to Qatar and building the skyscrapers and the big infrastructure there and giving them money from there. Now, how much money is fed in from other countries into Qatar? How much do we feed? You know, those kind of things are all things we need to be taking into account. And how much are we ending up essentially giving them money where we're not thinking that we are or whatever. But again, I don't want to abandon everybody, but we need to be thinking of America first. And that next generation needs to be fueling into it and not just utilizing off of it. Again, like this country, their younger generation need their government to help them. This government here, we need to keep it intact as much as we can, but we need to help them understand that we as the people have the force, right? It's 1% for a reason. We can stand our ground and say, we've had enough. We want it this way so that we can survive and go on, right? And on that subject, we're going to talk about another, it's social media, right? For kids, for that next generation. And I've covered Shoe on Head before, but this is done by Shoe on Head. And she talks about Wiz. And if you haven't heard of Wiz, I believe that's what it's called. We'll get into it. But long story short, I hadn't heard of it. She just put this out on the 23rd. So I kind of going in chronological order from when it happened, right? I don't know when Wiz came out, but we'll talk about it here in a minute. Force makes, Mr. B, yes, also makes our rights possible. Exactly. Our rights are possible because of force. As we decide on our rights and that our rights are good, we can extrapolate that, therefore, also force also makes good. And that's just it. Is I've actually come up with my own definition of rights, and maybe I'll find it here in a minute and talk about it. But force makes, and it makes our rights. So without force, there is nothing. I understand all of these debates, and they don't make any sense to me, because when it boils down to it, the strongest of us still control it. If they want to. If they really want to, it still happens. Force makes. It just does. We'll go over it in time, I'm sure. But let me get back into this. We'll talk about this dating app. Okay. All right, here we go.
Now, I know what you are probably thinking. A dating app for children? There's gotta be more to that, right? That can't be it. We're not at that level yet, right?
It's been compared to Tinder, but for young teens. Wiz is an app where users as young as 12 years old can swipe and meet new friends randomly, and it can be a minefield.
There's a lot of weird people on there. They like to ask for nudes.
The Canadian Centre for Child Protection says
This is wild, guys. Wild. Now, like I had mentioned before, I don't like social media. I haven't really liked social media for a long time. And I stayed off social media. And even when I was on Facebook, because somebody talked me into it and I stayed off of it for as long as I could. And then they talked me into it and I got on it. But even then I was stepped back. I was kind of a lurker, if you want to call it, whatever you want to consider it. I don't know. But this is wild to me. And it just gets wilder and wilder as we go through. And yeah, Mr. B, as a parent, you understand. I'm not a parent yet, hopefully, but not a good idea. We need our again, like I was talking about in the other video, we need our parents to step back in. We don't need the government to step in and start to regulate the internet like it's trying to do across seas. And I think Europe, Australia, I don't know where all of it's being restricted, but you're getting arrested for talking your mind, speaking your mind. Even here, we have certain words that I can't use or I get really worried about getting shut down. Like already today, I've already, so we need to be aware of these things and holding to them and doing our due diligence as people. Our children deserve better from us, not from daddy government. We need to stop relying on the government and rely back on ourselves and do our due diligence to vet these things. Now, I don't disagree with some regulation, like the ID identification in order to vote is required. Identification required to get onto P sites. I don't know exactly how to feel about that because restrictions to a certain extent, but again, restrictions through morals and ethics. Where are those morals and ethics come from, right? Again, that's what I was talking about with might. So might makes, but where does our ethics originally come from? And we need to get back to a universal understanding of what rights are. Because as soon as we get to this idea that might makes everything that can be right, so the majority makes the rights, we get into a very slippery slope. But we'll talk about that as we go.
it has received more than 180 reports about Wiz in the last year and a half.
So I did a little research and found that Wiz is actually a lot worse than people think it is. And it's also not the first or the last of its kind. In fact, there are shockingly many dating apps for kids out there, or friendship apps, as they like to call themselves. So in this video, we are going to talk about the rising disturbing trend of these friendship apps, and then we're going to actually look at what is happening inside these friendship apps. I actually posted about this on Twitter the other day, and people were like bamboozled that this was actually a real thing.
I follow Shu, and she's so funny. Like, sometimes she'll just comment on something, and it just blows my mind. Like, how did you...
Yeah, I have to agree. It kind of blew my mind to see this as well. Regardless of what you want to consider it, whether it be a friendship app or what they end up considering it, Tinder for kids, that is wild to me. Again, it, like Pumpkinhead saying, it rots the brain. Social media in general there was a reason that Steve Jobs did not give iPads to his kids. You don't want to feed into what you know is going to be a degeneracy product.
find this?
I don't find it. It finds me. There is so much insanity happening on the news every single day. I try to bring you guys the craziest stories, but honestly, it gets hard to keep up. Thankfully, I have an app for that. So before we get into this deep dive, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor. You all know it, you all love it, Ground News. Kamala Harris got something right for a change. Best of all, I am currently...
All right, skipping that. So I will agree with her. Ground News is a good source. So I was thinking about it the other day, and I will skip the ads because I do appreciate her ads more than most, and I'll skip what I can. But I do want to point out that if we don't feed into the good products, the good people that we want to hear from, then the people that we don't want to hear from are going to take over. That's how mainstream media got its roots in the first place, is people were complacent when it came to giving their money. So we need to be giving out to the people that deserve that sponsorship, right? And on that note, thinking about it, we've got a couple of shout outs that I would like to give. For one, AI Jambles, King Crambler, Mr. B Crambler in our chat. He has a couple of channels for music. AI Jambles and AI Psalms for the Everyday Man. Those two are very good. They're AI, but they're very good channels to listen to. Tyler TV, Cool Vic. Please check them out. Marte, O-T-E. Let's see, O-T-E with Marte Rules. Check them out, guys. We need to stand together. We need to stand with people that are actually trying to give a good underground information, not the mainstream media. We need to get back into understanding that we have our freedom of speech, our freedom to protect ourselves, our freedoms, and we need to hold to those. So with that, again, like I said, Ground News gives you all perspectives so you can understand where you're getting your news from, which is important. Using AI to turn to for companion. Yeah, so that's just it. Homestead Wench. AI is getting to be very dark with the companionship. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how they'll go to ChatGPT for a recipe. They can't go to Google and Google something and go step for step anymore. They have to go and have ChatGPT tell them step by step, like feet. I don't use it like that. Like I will use it. I'm not going to lie, but it's a tool because the cat is out of the bag, right? There's no putting it back in. Pandora's box is open. We've got to regulate it as we can. So I'm trying to utilize it as a tool because I'm a potato, let's face it. But people turning to it for companionship, I've been hearing quite a bit of feedback of people going dark and doing things that they should not be fed into to do. They should be pushed away from that, right? Is anybody surprised most of AI is propagandized by Democrats and that it's all coming out of Silicon Valley? Wikimoto, yeah, I don't know where all the AI is coming from. I've heard on a different place that there are some AIs that are from underground or something. I don't know them. I don't know how to depend upon them or how to guarantee that they're not propagandized. And I've been doing my own thing again, like I said, and every time I try to replicate what I want, it doesn't go the way I want it. Well, not every time, but sometimes it doesn't go all the way I want it to because it seems to be propagandized. All right. Homestead Wench, I refused to use it. I thought it was odd from the get, and I props. I refused to use it for a long time, and I need to be able to feed it back into the voice. To my calling, it feels like, is to be out there, and I've been using it as a tool to help me understand myself. Now that I've understood myself and I'm starting to get a little bit better about my flow, I'm not using it nearly as much. I liked it because I got to use it for my emojis on my Discord. If you like the people in the chat, and if you're not already in the Discord, please join my Discord. It would be, awesome to have you there too. But we'll go ahead and get back into this.
Offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the
really?
plan I use. And thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
But we did.
Right. And now, back to the video. Now, little known fact, Tinder was the original Tinder for kids. No, I'm not joking. Tinder used to have a 13 to 17 section. Kinder, if you will. Tinder eventually got rid of it in 2016, but the market for a...
Well, I would hope so. As I would hope that this wouldn't have ever happened, but I guess if they had a Kinder, then this is bound to happen, I guess. But that's... What are we doing, guys? Come on.
Tinder for kids was apparently still there. So it wasn't long before people saw dollar signs and created their own friendship apps. There are many friendship apps on the App Store for minors, like Yubo, Hoop, Perp, Scoot, Badoo. What in the f***ing Dr. S. Seuss is this? The Skadoos were on their Badoo app, sending their Who's pictures of their kazoos.
See, I'm a potato. I don't rhyme like that, but that was fairly decent. We got a Dr. Seuss in the house right now.
Listen, back in my day, we didn't have Tinder for kids, okay? We had wholesome gang things on Habbo Hotel and Club Penguin. Whatever happened to getting good old...
What? Okay, apparently I wasn't part of that one. I don't know what generation she's from, but I didn't do that. That's for sure. The chat is hard for me to keep up with. I didn't even do that as a kid. I wasn't a social person. You would watch my streams and probably think otherwise. I don't know, maybe. Part of the reason why I do it behind a camera and the mic, because I don't do it very well in person. But you would think I would have done it probably better back in the day, I guess, considering that. But I didn't like social media, and the fact that you are able to be subjected to things that you wouldn't necessarily be subjected to otherwise is a little concerning. And again, we as the parents, I speak figuratively, whatever the case is, because I'm not a parent again, but the parents need to be stepping back into the role of parenting and saying, no, you can't have a screen until I've definitely viewed that, and be able to make sure that you can't see something that you're not supposed to be seeing, right? Again, going back to the rights idea, we need to get to a firm understanding of what rights are, right? We need to understand that not everything is a human right. The right to life is a right because we've agreed upon it being a right, but the right to the sustenance to make that life is where it gets a little finicky, right? The ability to hunt for your food should be a right. The ability to have food, just to have food, that is not and should never be a right. That is going to be where you have to work for your own ability to survive. The ability to survive is what can't be taken away from you. The abilities are what can't be removed from you without being life or whatever. But you can't say that you have a right unless you have people to back that social agreement on, right? Like I mentioned before, I have my own proprietary version of my definition of rights, that being a right is a morally or legally justified claim that allows a person to act in specifically agreed upon ways without interference, or to secure the ability to act without interference by others, by force, when and as necessary. Because again, without force, nothing is possible. If we don't have the right to the Second Amendment, if we don't have the right to keep our other rights intact, I can't be here speaking. Shoe on Head can't be bringing us this information. That site wouldn't be possible probably, but we would be very much more restricted on an individual level We cannot allow that to get to that point. Yeah, Wigmoto, and that's just it. Is I played those games when I was a kid as well. Kick the can, capture the flag. We played together. We got to know each other. We were force, essentially. You learned to be a tough person because you could handle it, and we can again. We need to get back to the idea that we have the ability to have our own rights personally and individually. But again, we need to get to a fully understanding nationwide definition of what rights are going to be moving forward.
Fashion groomed on Skype. The main friendship app currently making headlines right now is Wiz. Wiz, the Tinder for Kids app, exposes kids to predators. Congress must act. Congress? Half of Congress is probably on this f***ing app. You expect me to believe the government currently protecting Jeffrey Epstein is going to do something about the Jeffrey Epstein app? New York.
And that's right there is just it. Right there is when we're talking about majority of the Congress of they won't even allow the list out. And I've had the song play before, but we want it. I don't care if there's a list. I don't care what it is. There's people to be held accountable, and we need to be continuing toward that. And it's not just Bill Clinton. That whole thing was redacted. I haven't seen it myself. I want to, but it needs to be pushed. We need to be furthering toward that. Pumpkinhead, yeah, I miss LAN parties too, man. Like where it was just who you knew already, and you got together and were together. It was just a community of your own, and you were able to visit and communicate personally, essentially, because you already knew them. There are some places I've found that the community is great, but social media in general has to be, again, it's going to be morals and ethics, and we need to get back to a solid nationwide understanding of where those morals and ethics are coming from. Foofy, thanks for joining us. It's good to have you. Remember, video games was something you did with your brother and your friends sitting around the same TV, and everything is so online now, nothing feels like it has weight to it anymore. Yeah, Mr. B, I completely agree. So the kids, younger and younger, are going out and finding things like this. Like they want that connection so badly that they're seeing the older generation going out and flitting around. And that's why we as parents need to be understanding that they can't be allowed to be fed into that flit idea from a young age. And they're already 13 and older. Anyway.
City teens told the Post that Wiz, which is available to users 13 and older, is similar to a dating app in the way you swipe through profiles, and that some underage users are relying on it to arrange hookups with strangers, including adults. It's like Tinder for kids, a 16-year-old high school senior from Manhattan told the Post. Like, literally, when you think of Tinder, that's what it is. Trying to hook up or, like, date. Many of the profile photos are thirst traps, with girls in sports bras and boys posting shirtless selfies. It's marketed as a wholesome app when it's actually not a wholesome app.
Again, that is wild to me. That it would... The owner of the Play Store is not doing anything to regulate what's going on to the Play Store. There's no... I think she talks about it, and maybe I skipped over it, but it talks about how there's a good age verification process on this app, and that these kids should be verifying their age, and they shouldn't be over and under whatever. And it's not that great of an AI. It's AI. Yet again, like Homestead Wench was saying, she doesn't agree. This is why AI is not a good thing. We shouldn't have ever let it out of the bag. And we always talk about how it can be the detriment of society, and yet we continue to myself included. What am I doing?
There have already been multiple arrests across the country of adult predators sexually assaulting teens they met on the app. In Washington, a 23-year-old man was charged with rape earlier this year after meeting up with a 12-year-old girl on Wiz. The victim told police he claimed to be 15. A 19-year-old
And again, this is supposedly, verifying their age, and I'm pretty sure she'll go over it here here in a bit about the age verification process, but we'll see how it goes.
Marine in Hawaii was charged with sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl he met on the app. And a 27-year-old Chicago man is facing charges for sexually assaulting several teenage girls he met on Wiz while also pretending to be a teen. In 2024, Florida's Department of Law Enforcement arrested a 20-year-old man for using a computer to solicit a minor, after investigation revealed he was speaking to a 14-year-old girl on Wiz while purporting to be 16. Okay, so not only 20-something-year-old adults were pretending to be younger, but younger people were pretending to be older. How the f*** is there no age verification on this app? At Wiz, the safety and well-being of our teen users is our highest priority. Oh, that's good to hear. Wiz uses sophisticated AI safety algorithms for age verification. You what? You're relying on AI for this?
There it is. Sorry. Yeah, so again, we're relying on a robot to tell us whether this is an actual age that should be on this at all. If they're underage, their parents shouldn't even be allowing them to be on there at all, to be completely honest, at most of these sites, because they have too much access. There's too many people with bad intentions in the world.
Safety of children on your website? May I remind you, we are still in the very early stages of AI. It's nowhere near where it has to be to handle important things like this, to handle verifying people's ages on a dating website for minors. What the f?
Really?
Seriously, what the f? To think that at the very, I understand that we've come a very long way with the development of quote unquote AI, but this is wild to think that AI can actually judge the age of people, where most people will go on to ChatGPT or whatever and get told that they're way younger or way older than they are. Hey, Mara, thank you very much for your engagement. Natalie, thank you. Natalia. I am terrible with names. If I ever mispronounce anybody's name or assume anything, I'm sorry. But thank you very much for joining us. Mojo, good to see you, buddy. It's good to have everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for joining me. I was a little bit late on tagging, so thank you very much for your support. And we'll get back into this.
Wiz is designed to connect kids with strangers, and furthermore, they allow both kids or both teens and adults onto the app, and they claim that they separate the kids from the adults by robust age verification tools. But I personally have tested those tools, and 3 times, every single time I tested them, I was able to create an account as a 16-year-old, and I was put into a category where I was encouraged to date 15 to 17-year-olds.
Like what? Like, that is wild to me. Again, if we're going to be allowing this kind of a app, we need to be making sure that age verification is seamless, that it is absolutely and utterly airtight, because it gets worse, but this cannot be allowed to happen. And yet it is.
Tell me why I saw a 20-something-year-old say they were 16 and easily get into Wiz.
Verify your age. To make sure you connect with people your age, we need to verify yours. Age verified. That didn't take...
Or this 20-something-year-old that said they were 15.
Age verification.
Why is it both the septum piercing? What? Ladies, I'm just going to say it as well. We don't like it. We don't like it. At all whatsoever. We don't. Stop. And I understand that if you don't want to be dating, then you don't put, I put the nose ring in because I don't want men to look at me, but yet I'm on dating apps, ladies, and I hate to say it, but I am. And you are on the dating apps with the nose ring in. So why are you on the dating apps if you want us to stay away from you? the septum knows. Like the septum ring piercing is just, we don't like it. No.
Age verified, fun start sound. What is that?
What's at stake here is that adults, particularly adult men, can pose as 15-year-old boys and hook up with teenage girls or teenage boys.
And that's the thing. Now, men are who have the testosterone. They're the ones who crave that attention, that physical attention, right? But that's why we need to have this age verification absolutely seamless, because it doesn't matter whether it be a female, male, doesn't matter, because yes, both genders have a problem with that feel to want that connection or that intimacy with the other gender.
Boys, for that matter. It's as simple as that. Stephen Balcom, founder of the Family Online Safety Institute, told the Post. Stephen Balcom was able to sign up for Wiz as a teen. Oh,
he was young enough. I mean, he looks young enough, right? Again, AI, it's seamless, right? It's so good that they've put this in charge of making sure that this person is at the age that they should be. So he looks young enough, right?
Wow, he must look pretty young. Oh.
What? That guy does not, there's no way that if any person were to be filtering through these photos, that they would say, yes, that guy's under the age of 18 to be on the app with kids under the age of 18. Now, those 25, 20 something, whatever they were with the septum rings, they could be potentially I probably not myself, but maybe by some people. But that's why we need people to be verifying this stuff and not just leaving it to, as she mentions later, the clankers, right?
Oh no. It's honestly just incredible to me that this idea was pitched to people like Tinder for kids, and nobody in that boardroom immediately got up and punched that guy in the head.
In the throat, dude. The head, like the head is pretty solid. That guy deserves more to be coming up with this idea, to be pitching it in front of a boardroom. He should have been right in the throat. This is wild to me. Like, he should have been booted out almost immediately. We, again, going toward that Epstein Island, that idea of the list, the idea of the file, whatever it is, this should never have even came into an existence. It should have been immediately shut down if it was considered a Tinder for kids. What?
This idea should have never been spoken into the world. This is a curse upon our lands. The CEO should be trapped inside of a crystal for 1,000 years. So who are the geniuses behind Wiz? Let's take a look. Oh, it's just a bunch of nerds. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. Okay, so the CEO, Thomas Don...
Uh-oh.
Can I say that? Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, he is French.
So what would it be if he's French? Don Niger?
It's always the f***ing French behind this shit. Cutie is now this. It's seriously time we start asking the French question. Believe it or not, this is not the first time Wiz has been under fire. Last year, Apple actually had to remove it from the App Store because of sextortion controversies. Apple removed the app Tuesday after the National Center of Sexual Exploitation contacted the company with concerns about the alleged use of Wiz in sextortion scams. Extortion is an increasingly common online crime in which people are enticed to send sexually explicit photos. Once the photos are sent, the receiver of the images threatens to share them online or with family or friends unless the victim sends money. John Sheehan, senior...
And see, that, again, that's wild to me, but parents need to be stepping up and saying, you can't go on to these because there's so many things that could be happening. Until I've vetted it properly, you can't go on to these sites. And besides the fact that they're all underage. So what are they doing essentially by doing this? And she'll talk about it as she talks about it later on. And I won't necessarily say it because I don't want to get in trouble. She can say it.
Senior Vice President of the Exploited Children Division and International Engagement for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, said his organization has received more than 100 reports from members of the public about minors allegedly extorted on Wiz this year, putting the app behind only Snapchat and Instagram for such reports.
That is wild to me. More than 100 members on a underage app have been extorted in that way. Snapchat and Snapchat itself, I don't think that they're marketed as a kids app though. They're geared toward kids. I understand. I'm not a fan of it personally, but like Pumpkins wood chipper for anybody that's going to be feeding into this idea, like Snapchat, if it was geared toward kids, I would probably be taking the same stance toward it as I'm here, because it designed so that you can it deletes after 24 hours. It automatically does that. So it was designed to hide things from people. Now, Instagram, I've never been a part of Instagram until just recently, until I started to network and until I started to put my name out there. So I'm part of X, I'm part of Instagram, I'm part of Facebook. I go to Reddit to go see the news, because Reddit is the underground of the internet. So I like to see what is online, and they seem to have most of it on Reddit. So I'll go to Reddit. And so if you want to follow me on any of those other platforms, I would love to have the support. And I think I've dropped most of my information down in the description below. But again, it goes back to the fact that these social media sites are not always the best idea. The greatest intentions don't always end the best, right?
Reports. So because there was extortion allegedly from Wiz, they had to shut it down. And this is the public statement Wiz came out with. Are you ready for this? Hey there, just wanted to drop in with a quick heads up. Wiz is currently taking a break from the app stores due to a technical hiccup.
Hey there, like, nothing's wrong, nothing's going on. We're a literal, like, what is the word that I can use here that would be, because you guys know what I'm going for, but this is, hey there, we're just, we're okay, no worries. Wow.
We're working super hard to get everything sorted out and back to normal ASAP. Here's the deal. If you uninstall Wiz during this time, you won't be able to re-download it until we're back up and running in the App Store. So we recommend hanging tight. We're really sorry for any inconvenience this may cause. We appreciate your patience and support. Stay tuned for the update, and in the meantime, keep enjoying Wiz. Thanks for
it being banned from the downloadable should be, I don't know. Our system, something needs to change, because if it's being banned from the downloading, wasn't there a reason for it? And if there was a reason for it, why wouldn't the whole app be like shut down? You just stay tuned. We'll have updates. We'll be back on this. Thanks for being part of the Wiz family. Like, you know, we didn't do anything wrong. It was everybody else. Like, I'm sorry you made me make you feel that way. Like, this is like the most narcissistic apology. I don't know what is going on right now. This is wild.
For being part of our Wiz family. Oopsie poopsie, we still will f you wucky. And when they were allowed back on the App Store, this was their announcement.
Wow. Insult to injury, like, that's a slap in the face after laughing at you. Like, I don't know exactly. Wow.
Imagine, if you will, getting banned off the App Store because of controversies surrounding extortion of minors, and then being like, we're back, bitches!
Seriously, though, like, to have the audacity to come back with that. Not, hey, we apologize to the public for being an absolute piece of wood chipper fuel. Like, I don't understand. This is wild to me. There was another one found back called Saya. Wow. Homestead wench. That is, again, like she was saying, there's more. And I'm older, so I'm not looking at that, but why would it even be a possibility? Because back in my day, we didn't have the social media, so we couldn't go out and get to know people that weren't in our social circles. But we need to get back to the idea that kids need to be kids, not looking for outside of that social network. At school, I'm not necessarily a fan of school. We need to get back to the homeschooling, but with that comes communities. With that idea comes back to the homestead idea. Homestead wench, you probably can agree with me there. We need to get back to that homeschooling, that home community idea rather than the public school. But if we have public school, when you homeschool, you still have the capability, the ability to send them to those soccer. I think like there's a bunch of them, art, band. There's some things that are publicly funded that you can send them to without sending them to school. So they can still get that social quality without going to the public schools. And I'm fully behind church, those social communities, getting your kids able to be social. I'm awkward. And I went to public school. I was only homeschooled for a couple of years and I'm awkward. But it's mainly because I'm just a hermit and that's just my personality. But it goes back to, we need to get back to the home communities, that idea to be tight-knit. Even across, we have the capability of the internet. I love it because the community that I've built here is just so great. TVT, thank you very much for joining us. Speaking of which, legendary server, like I know it's more restricted, but the people that are on RSTV, that server, if you're part of Discord, the family that I've found is amazing. So I'm not disagreeing with technology when it comes to the good that it has capability of being. But we need to be restricted, again, through morals and ethics. We need to get back to that idea of what morals and ethics we're going to follow, because we need a solid understanding so we don't start to slide back. We can't slide back. We need to go forward. Enough with the degeneracy, enough with the going apart. We need to come together again and stand together. If you want to be part of Tater Nation, please, I would be more than happy to have you part of Tater Nation, where we become unified again.
The audacity. We're still working on getting back on the store. We miss you guys. Stay strong. I like the hashtag attempt here. Nobody is using that shit. It sounds like a rapper. Free my...
If anybody's using that, they should be immediately put on a list. Like, she talks about not downloading these apps, and there's no way that I'm going to be downloading these apps. There's no way that I would have going to do my research, my due diligence on this. So we're going to take her word for it. But regardless, I'm seeing people in my chat talking about other platforms. These aren't a good thing. They shouldn't have been allowed in the first place.
Homie Lil Wiz, he ain't done nothing. Okay, so what exactly is on this app? Well,
Homie Little Wiz. If that was a rap name, I know it's not, but that would be what are we, R. Kelly?
Well, I am about to show you. I will be getting these screen caps from other videos about this topic because there is no fucking way I am downloading any of these apps onto my device, okay? I am on way too many lists already. Anyway, here are some examples of some profiles on these friendship apps.
Again, I'm sure I'm on too many lists already as it is, and I haven't even been on social media, especially how long Shoe on Head has been. So I don't blame her. So we'll take these as face value, but I appreciate the research that she did. TBT, I was watching Andrew on a panel until 1:30 a.m. last night. Oh man, that would have been cool. I wish I would have caught that, Andrew. And if you haven't checked out Andrew, definitely check out The Crucible. Andrew Wilson, Rachel Wilson, they're good people. The flack that they've been getting is some bullshit. But man, he is a good entertainer. I'll give him that. But we'll get back into this.
On here, I guess. 510 16, don't send. Hit me up. I'm a good listener. Don't be dry. Don't send. LOL. I don't send. Friendly 304. Older girls are on top. 15. Look at the little Roblox icon! I don't send, so don't try. I don't send, don't ask. So if you are not aware what these people mean when they say don't send, they are saying they do not send private photos. May I remind you that this is an app marketed towards minors, and these minors.
So again, it happens so frequently that they have to put on their profile that they don't do that, or that they like. It shouldn't even be an option. The AI that they talk about, if anything, again, I don't agree with it being a part of this at all, but it should be absolutely shutting that down as soon as it sees skin at all, whatsoever. Like, even if your face is, just kidding, but seriously, the ability to send these shouldn't even be possible on this app because it's for underage people. What? No.
Minors feel the need to put in their profiles that they do not send nudes to strangers. That is how prevalent that is on this app. They feel like they have to go out of their way to say they don't do it. This one literally has to say, I don't send, stop asking.
Stop asking. That is wild. At 16 years old. Now, again, that's age verified through an AI, so who knows how old they are, but I'm assuming that's their profile that they set at 16. But stop asking. Maybe she's just got some morals, some ethics. She started out with them. She started out with basically one or two, and it was like, yeah, stop asking that. I don't know, and props to her. But either way, props to her. But the fact that you have to, again, it shouldn't even be a possibility. It should not.
Bro, what the Trades 17. All send 14. Wow, those are some.
I'll send at 14. Goodness.
Interesting names they have there in Australia. How exotic.
How exotic. Yeah. Again, that's wild. This is wild. This one, American flag here at 16, and my she big, by the way. Like, yeah, that's not a good sign. I don't know. I mean, face blocked out, but is he 16? This is not okay.
My shit big, by the way. 16 years old. No Bill Cosby shit, but if bitches sleeping on me, then I'm a fuck 'em.
What the? No Bill Cosby, but yet you then go on to say, if I get the option to, I'm gonna. Like, what is going on with this app? Like, is there no one watching this app at all? On Facebook, you have people blocking you for stupid. Like, you can report this kind of activity on Facebook, on Instagram, and yet is there no one watching this at all? Exactly, Pumpkinhead. His words of love. Wow. And what is going on?
What? Hit me up if you are a girl that plays variety games, listens to music, and has a decent amount of beauty, so I can actually appreciate you. I don't date gays or blacks. Teen Mom, if you have a prob, keep swiping.
at 14, teen mom at 14. And this is why this app right here. I mean, maybe not this is why this particular case, but this is definitely going to be feeding into that. That poor kids need to be able to be kids. And at 14, you are still a kid. I don't know how I stand on the frontal cortex lobe being developed to 25. I don't know exactly how I stand on that. But at 14, you are definitely not old enough to be having that responsibility for the rest of your life. Men need to be standing the up, and women need to be starting to understand their worth, their value in society. Yeah, this is crazy. 14. Man. It hurts my soul, guys.
14. I like it in the back door.
What the? What? No. At, what was it, 16? No.
Mom, if you have a prob, keep swiping. 14. I like.
How do you know that? No. No.
Get in the back door. Violet, 15. Pull up for and smoking. Bring me a Nick, though.
Nick? I don't get the reference there, but again, all underage. So, my goodness. Wikimoto, I'm a girl. Come on over. Yeah. Yeah, this what happened to the Cheaters movies and shows, like Homestead Wench is saying, I love people like Skeeter Jean catching preds in action. That's what we need more of, not more of this, not more of feeding into we need to find the Epstein Island list, not feed into it, not give more to have to find. Oh my goodness. Homestead went, she must be a tomato. Oh, the cool verse. What do you guys think of that? Yeah.
To rate eggplant. Oh man, I sure love friendship apps.
At 16, rating. At 16, rating people's. How would you know? At 16, how would you know to be able to rank it? This is, I know I just keep repeating it, but this is wild. This cannot be continued to keep going on like this. This kind of app, this kind of degeneracy is why I'm fatigued. All of it just lumps into degeneracy fatigued as far as I'm concerned, and this is part of it. I don't like this idea. I don't want to continue on with this path. And if that means we need to get to Christian nationalism to get away from this, so be it, I guess. But it goes back to the fact that Christians allow you free will, the allowance to choose what you want to do, how you want to do it, because you can't take that away from someone. But you can take rights away. Right? And we'll talk about that as we go on in my channel as well. But the friendship apps and the social media and the idea that people can just do whatever they want to needs to stop. And we need to get back to an understanding of what is ideal or what is good for the society and the people in it. Yeah, like TVT is saying, this is gross, man. Like, screw the list. Wood chippers already. Then, as far as we need to find that, and we need to. If everybody needs to go down, everybody needs to go down. If Trump needs to go down, Trump needs to go down. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm a potato. I've stayed out of it as much as I can, but I'm pretty sure from the outskirts, I've found that he was not part of it, and that he was the only one that was going against it. That when he found out what was really happening, he said, no, that's not going to fly. And he stopped being associated with Epstein, and he's the only one that I know of. We need to get back to getting to the bottom of it. All of it needs to stop. This is gross. Gross, guys. Gross.
My favorite activity to do with the homies, with the bros, rating each other's dicks. Friendship. I don't send.
Friendship.
You should obsess over me. 15. It's wrong. If you're a sub and a masochist, text me now. Be my yandere.
I don't know. I don't know the yandere. I don't speak that language. I'm not sure which it comes from. A sub and a masochist. I'm trying to think of the reference there too. I think I know, but if you're both, this must be a guy. I would assume. Don't send. You should be assess over me as a guy. And if it's a girl being a dominant, like, girls, we don't like it. Stop. We need to stop feeding into the ability to have it found by the simps and allow them to understand their self-worth, because no real man is going to want a dominant woman. We don't like quarrelsome wives. We like peace. We like submissive idea, the ability to lead our households. If you want a leader, if you want a protector, you've got to be willing to follow. That's all it boils down to.
You my psychopath. Someone please come collect your daughter. Oh my god.
Yeah, again, if it's a daughter, somebody come collect that and put something in, because yes, TBT, that's what I thought it was. So maybe not punish in that way, but lock her in, I don't know. I can't say that, but put her behind bars for a little bit and help her understand that that is not okay. This is 50 Shades of Grey never should have come to the light of day. It should never have gotten out into public. The book was bad enough, but it to be put out into theaters should never have happened.
6'3" football. Text me with Riz. I have a whimper audio, so ask to see.
I'm sorry, what? A whimper audio. Audio? You don't see audio. Whimper audio. Okay, I'm probably a boomer. I don't know on that one. That's 6'3". He could be underage, but again, we shouldn't even be allowing this kind of idea in this age to be happening. You should be finding your social network through church, through the public school, public things. Again, I don't agree with public school, but the band, the soccer, those art classes, those kind of things, you should be taking your kid to socialize in those kind of ideas. But this is, we need to get offline. We need to go touch grass as I'm here talking online. I know. I try to touch grass as much as I can, but unfortunately, because I live where I live, I need ability to talk out. I have to be able to talk to you guys. It's what keeps me going.
Holy shit, someone please come collect your son! Where are the freaks at? 15 years old asking where the freaks are at. Sir, I do not doubt at all. Several freaks are viewing your profile. Rate me 1 out of 10. Middle school, about to be 13.
What? Rate me 1 out of 10. Where I do understand that the rating system exists. I watch the whatever podcast. I understand where they're coming from. I don't look at a woman and say she's a 6, she's a 7. That's not how I play it. But every single person is going to rate the person that they're looking at. Whether that be, okay, yeah, they're the person that I would like to be in a relationship with. Or whether that's like, yeah, I don't even, I'm not even going to talk to them. Everybody rates people. But in middle school, should not be the first thing on your profile that you're asking to happen. You're just asking to be degraded, essentially. And objectification, again, like I've mentioned before, why are women so bad about objectifying themselves, but getting mad when we catcall them, when we give them the attention that they're craving for now? You asked for it. Now, are we going to get upset because we give you the rating that you don't want? Probably. Now, their profile is set at 17. Their profile is set at 17 and they are 13 or about to be 13. They're 12. They are 12 and they're where's the age verification?
They have their age set to 17, but they're actually 13. So, again, great job. The state-of-the-art AI technology at work here. ChatGPT says I'm 24 years old.
Goodness. Like, yeah, I mean, without makeup, she does look kind of young. I mean, with makeup, she looks pretty young. I would say she's 25, even with makeup on, to be completely honest. Yeah, TVT. When I have, I freaking hope I do have a kid someday, my own. Really hope so. But if I have a kid and I have to have them homeschooled, I am terrified by that point, especially if you're going next year. I don't blame you for being worried, man. I would be worried too. Like, I've got nieces and nephews that are getting up there, and they're going to be getting up there too. And it worries me. Again, I want to have kids. But yeah, this is crazy. So again, GBT, so AI. Now I understand they're probably all a little different, but most open source AI, I'm pretty sure, feed off of each other. So they all have essentially the all same information. I understand there's going to be some servers that they don't have access to. I want to say that at one point in time, GBT4 had access to a server that it doesn't have access to anymore, and so it's not as sharp as it once was. But yeah, 24, 25 is what I would say that she is. And so I understand the verification being hard to be actually verification, even with human beings. So AI is not the way we should be doing it.
Without makeup, my 34-year-old haggard ass. I'm
34? Yeah. Okay. I mean, props. Yeah. I don't know exactly what she's doing, but she must be doing it very well, because I would have guessed 24 probably too.
sorry if I do not trust fucking clankers to handle something like this. Let's take a look at what actual teenagers are saying about this app, shall we? Is Wiz safe? No, I got sent CP on it. Bruh, I got asked, do you trade so many times? Most people on there are horny for real. Got way too many PP pics from people. No, literally at this point, Wiz has become...
That tells you right there. The people that are on this app are giving you feedback real time, essentially. Again, Reddit. This is why I'm on Reddit. I am not saying to go to Reddit. If you're part of Reddit, join r/apotatoeseye. But if you're not on Reddit, don't get on Reddit. But this shows you that this stuff is not okay in real time. We should be against this idea. And it goes back to women before they were able to vote. They were able to sway politics a lot better because they had the moral high ground. They didn't have anything at stake. We need to get back to that. I'm not saying repeal the 19th, but I am saying roll back voting. I've said this multiple times before. We need to roll back voting. We need to get back to an idea that if you don't have a stake in the game, you don't get to vote. And the people that want the ability to have that moral high ground shouldn't have to be signing up for the vote, whether that be male or female. I don't know exactly how that would work because we have to have the draft. We have to have the ability to put forth the best of the best. And that's the men in war. Sorry to say it. It is what it is. I'm a man and I don't like the idea, but if it comes down to it, no, I'm going to stand up for you. If I wasn't going to stand up for you, I wouldn't be here right now trying to do my best to stand my ground. So if it were to ever come around, I'm going to do my best to stand with the people of the nation that want to be part of the nation. That's where it comes down to whether we need to be deporting people that don't want to be part of this nation. Thank you, TVT. Very much appreciated that. I really appreciate this sharing of the stream. If you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream, share it, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and give feedback. Drop the comments. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm fully open to feedback. I want to be better about this. I know that my starting of my streams start out kind of rough, but I want to be better from the get-go. So please give me the feedback that I need. No more weak men. Exactly. Weak men are making for hard times. I don't like seeing it coming. I don't want you guys to have to deal with that. The next generation. Again, this whole stream has been about that next generation. I want to feed back into understanding what is best for society to that next generation.
Become a child-friendly Tinder. The things I saw were horrifying. 15-year-olds posting videos of themselves twerking, 14-year-olds calling themselves bottoms, 13-year-olds putting shit in their bios like, I'll send if you send. My sister is using a dating app for teens called Wiz, and honestly I find it really unhealthy. She spends a lot of time talking to guys she barely knows. The worst part is, my mom does nothing about it. I've been punished for way less, but my sister never gets any real consequences. I'm just trying to protect her, but she thinks I'm against her, and I'm really scared that one day this could end badly. Older brother, please protect your sister. She may hate you in the moment, but she will thank you in the future. Oh my god, and the fact that his mom doesn't care. This is giving me like actual anxiety.
Yeah, this is crazy. So again, the parents need to be the main contributor to pushing back against this. But the community, siblings, uncles, aunts, those kind of things, we need to all be feeding into being better. Not just, yeah, you slay queen, you go out there and flit around, you get your bag, or even the guys saying out there and you be a stud, you go out there and sow your royal oats, or whatever the frick the term is. Stop with the promiscuity. Just stop all of it. This is why we can't have it. Because the younger generation sees you flitting around, bringing home guy after guy after guy. I dated the single moms back in the day, and they were really good about keeping their personal life separated from me, right? Their kids didn't get to know me for a certain amount of time before they were allowed into my life. I was allowed into their life, and I had a lot of respect for that, because those children can't have that going back and forth, people coming in and out of their life. Because this idea is what grows from that view, from that, you know what I'm talking about. They see that, they're going to do that from a younger and younger age. Hey, Never Lucky Rubber Ducky, good to see you, buddy. It's good to have you in the stream here. All right, so we'll see if we can get through this real quick. We've got a few more minutes, about 10 minutes.
My catch. If you're a guy, it's hard. Watch ads to get 5 coins, and once you reach 250, start the boost to get more requests. Oh, it's one of those watch ads to get coins sort of apps, of course.
Freemium app? Friendship app? I guess I can... If this isn't a dating app, how would you consider this? Why would you have to have credits to get friend? Like, what the frick?
So what are the ads these 13 to 17-year-olds being forced to watch in order to get coins or whatever the
And this is where it really goes dark, guys, because again, this is a friendship app.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what type of ads are on these friendship apps. Safe chat room. Enjoy private chats with gorgeous online. Gets our horny. 1v1 video chat. Please tame me. I wanna. AI generate. Not safe for work. Dirty call and come fast. Free video chat with naughty hot girl. Now I know every single social media has an issue with this. Every single one, from Instagram to Twitter, there's always an issue of predators preying on minors on social media. But
this is what the actual... This is a friendship app. Why is that even? None of those ads had anything to do with friendship. It should have been like the freaking what? Oh man, why am I drawing a blank? YMCA or the freaking your local district recreational center or something like that. What the? Oh my goodness. If you need to tell your sister kids what to do, she is not raising them properly. My sister was the same. You kept my distance from the kids because they were disrespectful. They were all grown up. Yeah, and that's the thing is, been there. The parents, if you don't raise your kids, you're going to raise your grandkids. Right? You're going to end up having to help raise those grandkids, and grandparents should be allowed to have the freedom to be grandparents. It is what it is. All right.
These apps in particular are created with weird intentions from the get-go. Like, why does a 13-year-old kid need an app like this, where they swipe on photos of people and like plan to meet them in person? They just don't need an app like this. The bad that potentially comes with it completely outweighs like any of the good that can come from an app like this. I remember when like don't talk to strangers online was like the big thing. That was like the main internet rule. That and don't believe everything you see on the internet, which is funny now coming from the boomer generation that thinks like this is real on Facebook.
She's not lying, unfortunately. All right, but that's basically all I've got. We're getting pretty close to being the end of our stream for today. But essentially, we need to be protecting that next generation. We need to be watching what they watch before they watch it, and making sure that we're keeping an eye out for AI, essentially, and the garbage that it has to do with everything as well. But again, what do you guys think? Do we really think that we need swipeable apps for kids to be socializing? Because I don't. I think that the chat rooms, the Facebook, we already have Facebook, Instagram. They can all get on those other apps. I don't understand why we're trying to find other ways for underage kids to have a social life. Your time in your teenage years, the ability to go to school, to have those social abilities, whether that be through the public school, whether that be through the public band, sports, those kind of things, to socialize as a kid, is your time to get to know other people, is your best opportunity to get friends. Trust me when I say this, because I have no friends, and as an adult, it is painfully hard to find new friends. So kids need to be able to be kids. They need to be able to have the ability to find their social networks in real time, in real life, as much as possible, as far as I'm concerned. But especially not on a swipeable app where you're literally setting them up to be groomed for Tinder, setting them up to be groomed for older people to go in there and essentially groom them further. This is terrifying to me. A lot of these things that I've brought to the surface the last couple weeks have been terrible. They've been absolutely horrifying to me. So if you like the content that I'm trying to bring to the surface, please feel free to give me that feedback. Like, subscribe, share me out to the other ones out in the human world. share the starchiness so that we can all get in on the conversation. I want to understand more about why we think that these are the way we want to be going. I understand, I want to understand why the progressives think that it's good, that liberalism, that feminism are good for society. What equality are they really giving when back in the day, both men and women were in hardship? And until technology came around, no one really got educations. No one really got easy, cushy jobs. And when those easy, cushy jobs were available, the women were the ones who took them. Not saying that I'm complaining, just saying that we allowed it to take place. Hey, Pharmacat, thanks for joining us for the last little bit of the stream here. Never Lucky Rubber Ducky, I'm your streams out like thank you very much. Really appreciate all the support that I've been getting. I will get better, I promise. For now, I'll go ahead and leave you with that. Again, please leave your comments in this comment section. Tell me what I'm doing right, wrong, what I can feed you back to, give you more information on. If you come up with some ideas, again, I'm all for it. For now, please take care of yourselves out there. Within the United States, remember your Second Amendment rights. Your response time will always be faster than that of the police. I want you all to stay around. The Bondi incident has been all that much more to force it down my throat that we need to hold on to our rights. That Second Amendment right entirely more than others. So I care about all of you. If you need a nation, please join mine. Those outside of the United States, please take care of yourselves the best way that you know how. I know that your rights are disappearing, and I'm concerned for your safety. You're all very important to me. As for now, please, again, take care of yourselves, and the potato signing off.
Step to the circle, let the truth ignite. Every claim you swing better land tonight. I've sharpened my mind like a blade in the forge. Celtic fire in my chest, lightning pulsing in the chords. Your words dance pretty, but the logic is thin. I don't fight with feelings, facts always win. You want heat, I'm the storm in the north. Every sound wave I speak hits with thunderous force. Raise your voice if you think you're ready, but my stance stays grounded, iron steady. This isn't rage, this is reason in flight. A tool of the mind in electric light. I don't break in the clash of thought. My truth stands firm where the praise don't fought. In the roar of the crowd, through the charge of the night, I bait with a blade made of knowledge and light. Celtic hearts in fire in my spine. Argument of iron, unshaken by time.
I'll tear it apart. I don't swing at people, only claims with no heart. When the logic collapses, it's plain to see. The facts don't bend just to make you agree.
I'm not here to shout, I'm here to be clear. Truth walks with courage, not anger or fear. Your rhetoric falters, my reasoning climbs. I strike with precision, clean, sharp lines.
Stand tall if you want the floor, but reason beats volume every time for sure. When the dust settles and emotions fade, only strong arguments remain unscathed.
baseline grows. Tin whistle rising like a wind that knows. Every claim you make, every point you try, cut through the noise with a mind held high. This isn't war, this is truth refined. Not a battle of fists, but a battle of mind. I don't break in the clash of thought. My truth stands firm where the praise are fought. In the roar of the crowd, through the charge of the night, I debate with a blade made of knowledge and light.